Welcome to another exciting edition of Pardon Our Picks, where perfection is a work in progress. I'm your host, Sam. Alongside me this week, Tarik. How you doing tonight?
Well, I'm not missing it like I was last week, and I'm glad I was able to make this week after all my internet problems. So I'm just glad I'm here to talk about some football. How about you, buddy?
I'm just here so I don't get fined. So, of course, we have with us Football Jesus. How you doing tonight?
Man, I'm feeling good. The first full broadcast of the year, week 3. Got some pretty interesting matchups this week, and I can't wait to dive into them with you guys and gal.
All right, the QB queen, Jessica. How's it going?
Oh, it's going pretty well. I'm over here working on my lighting, but doing my research.
We all have issues. And then, of course, my little NFL insider, Sammy. How you doing tonight? Doing good? All right. So, it's been an exciting week. Had a couple of really good games, really incredibly interesting games that we didn't think were going to happen. So, I got to ask, with all the craziness that happened last week, which team needed the bounce back win the most, and which team, quite frankly, had the best bounce back?
I mean, I'll take it and I'll run with this one. I think it's going to be less of an obvious choice here, but I think the Pittsburgh Steelers, honestly. I mean, with the Bengals being 0-2, the Browns looking pretty dominant in week 1, and the Ravens obviously getting out to a 2-0 start. I really think that was if we can call a week 2 game a must win for a team. I think the Steelers had to win that game to make sure they stayed in the race for that division. I mean, the defense looked amazing. The offense has got a lot of work to do, but I'm going to go with the Steelers on that one because that defense looked as stout as it's ever been.
I think that's a good choice for the most needed bounce back from week 1 to week 2. I'm going with the biggest bounce back of week 2, and that for me was the New York Giants. They did also bounce back from a week 1 performance, losing 40-0. So that was kind of a big deal. But in the half against the Arizona Cardinals this week, they were down by 20 points. So they haven't had a comeback like this since the 1950s. So this was a pretty big one for them. I honestly was counting them out, and I don't expect much from the New York Giants, but I didn't expect them to be down by 20 to the Cardinals. So this was a huge comeback for them. They got things together and pulled out the win. So
Giants were one of my picks. My other pick was actually the Commanders. So I was watching the Broncos game. They were up by 2 touchdowns. All of a sudden you had like 18 unanswered points, and they just kept going, and Broncos eked up, and then the Commanders just eked right on top of them. And I mean, it's just one of those, like, everyone's trying to prove themselves this year. Commanders are trying to prove their stupid name isn't stupid. And the Broncos are trying to prove that Russell Wilson is actually like worth something. So I think that just was a big swing around after the halftime, and I think they proved it. Now Commanders are 2-0 while Broncos are 0-2. So,
Sammy, who was your biggest comeback team this week?
Seahawks.
The Seahawks. You know what? I agree with them. The Seahawks, they're in a tough division with the 49ers and the Rams, which is surprising.
They are birds.
They are birds. And they flew just over the Lions in overtime to win this week. And they needed it. They needed to be able to keep up in that tough division if they want to have a chance at the playoffs this year.
Yep.
So that's mine and the little guys. Games of the week, or comebacks of the week. So, speaking of comebacks, let's take a look at the records from last week and see how we all did.
I don't see Kim Kardashian on there.
dang, Sam.
Big surprise.
Oh my God.
Big surprise. This guy.
Wait. Some pictures are wrong, or some labels.
I only changed the top 2 for some reason. I know. That was my fault. Yeah.
I'll take Sammy's record, though.
I was gonna say, what did Did you get 8-8 or did you get 10-6?
I think I went 8-8.
Brady did go 8-8. Sammy went 10-6. Sammy is currently sitting at third at 17-15. He had a great week, which was,
Oh,
which was
you count
awesome.
week 1?
Hmm?
You count his first week?
I did.
Okay.
He didn't have it He didn't have it online, but
Okay, yeah. Because I was looking at while talking to Brady at work today, and I was like, "Oh, I'm not in last. Oh no, wait, I'm in last."
But you look at the overall scores, and we're one right after
Very
the other.
close. Yeah, you're close, Tarik. You're right there.
Yeah, one good week, and you could be right up top next week.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Or my goal should be Brady of this year.
Hey. I thought we were forming an alliance against
are.
Jessica this year.
Yeah,
It
we can
won't
do that.
work.
We can do that. You and me. Wonder Twin powers activate. There we go.
You could combine all efforts. You're not going to beat me.
Challenge accepted.
Yeah.
Sounds like a challenge. I'd love to see you guys compete with Jessica to see who can beat her for second place. But given all that, let's move on to our games of the week. We're going to start with Brady. What is your game of the week?
Well, my game of the week last week kind of wound up being a stinker, so I figured let me get a little bit more mainstream this week, and I chose the New Orleans Saints against the Green Bay Packers. Two teams that I think honestly are pretty well off this year. I mean, the Saints are 2-0 with a brand new quarterback. The Green Bay Packers lost Aaron Rodgers and haven't looked terrible. I mean, I went into this season fully expecting the Packers to be one of the teams in the top fives in picks, which they very well may still could be, but they have not been playing like it this year. I mean, they lost by 1 point last week to Atlanta, and Jordan Love looks like he's got full control of that offense. I think this is going to be one of the tougher tests for Green Bay. I know they lost last week, but that game was close, but this will be the best defense that Jordan Love has faced in his time as a starter. However, I think last night Derek Carr and the offense started to get rolling a little bit more, and Carolina really only got into that game when the Saints started playing prevent defense.
You think Derek Carr is the answer there?
I do think Derek Carr is the answer there, to be honest with you, because after this week, the Saints will get Alvin Kamara back, just making that offense that much better. So if they can escape Lambeau with the win, which I think they will, I am picking the Saints in this game. If they can escape Lambeau healthy, I think the Saints have a really good shot at making the playoffs this year and being the winner of this division, or their division.
What do you think, Jess? Do you think Jordan Love can get things righted in Green Bay?
I did pick Green Bay. This one was a really tough one. I also think Derek Carr is actually a great fit in New Orleans, and I think long term, or at least by the end of this year, most people will agree with that. To say what he's going to do next year, or they're going to do with him next year, I don't know. But I think it's a fun game. I really am excited to watch this one. Like he was talking about, the defensive matchup from New Orleans for Green Bay should be fun to watch. It looks like Green Bay's starting to get some stuff going offensively, and Jordan Love's kind of settling in. So that's kind of fun to watch for me. I did pick Green Bay. This one I could change last minute, but I think I'm going to stick with it. It is in Green Bay, I believe.
It is in Green Bay.
So I think that's where I'm going.
Okay.
I mean, this is another one of those situations. I really can't say anything that wasn't already said from you guys. I mean, Derek Carr and Jordan Love. I mean, what can be said? I think I'm going to give Green Bay home field advantage on this one. But yeah, this is one of those that I think is really close. It could go either way. But I'm going with Green Bay.
Who do you think wins this game, buddy?
Giants.
They're not in here. It's Green Bay and the Saints.
Green Bay.
Green
Also
Bay.
don't pick the Giants.
Yes. He picked Green Bay. I'm gonna agree with him. Quite frankly, I'm hoping the running back comes back this week. He injured himself. He got injured last week. Let's see what happens. Even so, I think the 2-0 record for the Saints is a bit of a misnomer. The teams that they played the Titans and won by 1 point. They played Carolina and won by I think it was less than a touchdown.
I think the Titans were a tough kind of a tough team, though. Tougher than people expected them to be.
I think the Titans haven't really gotten their feet under them yet. I think their win this past week against the Chargers was just because the Chargers can't hold on to a lead no matter who they play. So I'm not sure that either one of these teams is really all that great right now. But I got Green Bay in Green Bay simply because I think that they have the better defense right now. I think they have the better defense.
I gotta say, in my 3 seasons of doing this is the first time I'm legitimately surprised to be in the minority on the pick.
You are always in a minority on the picks. That's why you end up at the bottom.
I understand that, but like, the Saints defense is really good. But moving on.
Could just be who they played. But let's move on. Let's go to Jessica's game of the week. Jessica, what is your game of the week?
Oh, I believe I picked the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Las Vegas Raiders.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So last night I stayed up to watch that Steelers Cleveland game. Okay. And I was cheering the Steelers on like I have never cheered them on in my entire life.
Poor Chubb.
Okay. Nor will I probably ever do again. That was an exciting and crazy game. Okay. Just as a little recap, there was in the first quarter, there was like 4 turnovers. There was like 1 fumble that turned into like 7 people touching the ball before it went out of bounds. It was crazy. And somehow last night was TJ Watt's first touchdown. I found that like absolutely mind-boggling. Him and Alex Highsmith were absolutely nuts. The Steelers defense was so much fun to watch. Their offense just stuttered constantly. The only target that Kenny Pickett could hit was Pickens. And thank God they have him because he was absolutely amazing when he would get out in the open.
He almost didn't play last night.
Pickens or Pickett?
Pickens.
Why? Was he injured?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I didn't know that.
He just didn't feel like it. He just didn't feel like it.
I mean, he's on the field too. Yeah.
Well, like there's some players like Lamar Jackson last year who constantly had mysterious illnesses. So, but Jimmy Garoppolo, I do like him, but
he is
huh?
What?
Yeah. Anyway, the offense for the Pittsburgh Steelers only scored 55 rushing yards. Only completed 55 rushing yards. That's absolutely insane. Last night's game, 20 QB hits, 8 sacks, 2 interceptions, and 5 fumbles. It was a wild, wild game. I think the defense is going to keep that going, and they're really going to give Jimmy G a big problem. His last game was a bit of a struggle. He was already held to 185 yards by a lesser defense, in my opinion.
He did play Buffalo. Buffalo's pretty decent.
Decent defense, but I honestly am putting Steelers defense above theirs. After what I've seen, that's what I'm absolutely putting them above Buffalo's defense. So for me, I think he's going to be held even tighter. He's going to struggle. Jacobs also struggled in week 2. So I'm going with the Steelers in this one. And that might very well be an upset, but I'm taking the Steelers by 7.
All right. So that was a lot of information that I don't have and I can't repeat.
I don't think
not
any
even
of us
gonna try.
can.
Huh?
I don't think any of us are going to be able to.
So TLDR, one of those, sure. I'm young. I can no, not at all.
I'm hip.
I'm hip. I know things. So I'm gonna go with Las Vegas. I think they have just edge it out. They're at home. Give them a little bit of home field advantage. I think this is another one of those like too close for me to really like pick. It could go like just either way based on their games I've seen over the last 2 weeks. But I'm giving the Raiders right now for the edge out.
Raiders. Okay.
Also, really quick, I think there's some injuries. Like there's questionable Devontae Adams. I think is questionable.
Yeah, he is questionable with a concussion, I believe. Which
and there's a second questionable player. Jacoby Myers?
potentially.
That's-
But
Lots of
to be
potential.
honest with you, to parlay into that, Devontae Adams is the only player on the Raiders I think who is worth any amount of money. Jimmy G, I think, is a serviceable quarterback. I like him. I think he has the skills to win in this league. I do not think he is the answer for Las Vegas. I mean, I think he's a worse version of Derek Carr.
I don't know
However,
if anybody is the answer for Las Vegas. I think Las Vegas is the problem.
I agree wholeheartedly. However,
My
if
in-laws would
Devontae
agree with
Adams-
you.
If Devontae Adams does play, I will be picking the Las Vegas Raiders. Now, the Steelers defense looked really good last night against the Cleveland Browns. The Steelers defense looked really bad against the San Francisco 49ers in week 1. So
Which
it's
is
kind of that
where
toss-up
Jimmy G
is we've
came from.
seen the Steelers defense look really bad against a good offense and really good against a mid offense. And I think the Cleveland Browns and the Las Vegas Raiders match up well, except for the Raiders have Devontae Adams, which I think makes them a little bit better. So if Devontae Adams plays in this game, I would pick the Raiders. If he doesn't, I'm changing my pick to the Steelers.
I do not think the Cleveland Browns and the Raiders are on the same level, as much as it pains me to say that.
Yeah, the Raiders are so much
Also,
higher.
the reason, Sam, you're going to see in my picks, it was the Raiders when I picked them. But the reason that I had initially picked them is the Steelers did get really banged up last night's game. So there are several questionable players. I do think some of them will make it but for this game. But yeah, sorry.
That's okay. Sammy, what do you got? Raiders or Steelers?
Steelers.
You got the Steelers in this one? You got the Steelers winning this?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I gotta say I disagree with the little guy here.
What?
I know I'm picking the Raiders, and here's why. Josh Jacobs, not quite the caliber running back as Nick Chubb, but Nick Chubb was running all over him until he got his knee basically removed, and I think this is good. I think that's going to be the key. Quite frankly, the Steelers haven't put up hardly any offense. Even yesterday, they didn't put up that much offense.
I think they got their second offensive touchdown of the season yesterday.
Their offense is putrid. It's horrible. It's terrible. I mean, they can't score on offense. Their defense is going to try and save them, and I don't think their defense is all that great either. I think Cleveland, bit demoralized by the Nick Chubb thing, is the reason why they won that game last night. And yes, it's a rivalry game. Sometimes
You are
it does
not
play
watching.
into it. But I got the Raiders in this, man. I just see him being able to run all over him. I do. Josh Jacobs is going to get 3 touchdowns. 3.
Wow. Is he on your
Hold
fantasy
on.
team?
He is not.
Hold on. How much? I got $3 in my wallet.
Three
I
whole
would put
for each
dollars.
touchdown?
down on 3
Oh,
touchdowns.
yeah.
Josh
Is
Jacobs.
that one for each touchdown?
Yes, one
Yeah.
for each touchdown.
Yeah.
Yes, bud.
Look,
Let's see.
I'm stuck.
Oh, you're stuck, huh? Well, let's get unstuck and move on to the next game of the week. Tarik, what is your game of the week, sir?
I'm pulling a Brady from last year, and I'm just going to do a weird game. Denver and Miami.
Oh,
So just out of left field, just because I'm interested in the outcome of this game, because you have Miami that's doing really well, Tua's looking good, and the Broncos, who everyone told me was going to look good this year, and so far has been mediocre at best. Sean Payton has made some changes with the Broncos. Jerry Jeudy, who everyone thinks is a great wide receiver, I think is completely overrated, has not looked good. It's been this new guy, Mims. I think this is going to be a make or break week for Denver. I think Sean Payton is trying to correct this ship, and I don't think he knew what quite he was getting into when he took this job, trying to correct this team. I have Miami winning this whole-handedly, just wiping it, but I'm interested to see what Denver is going to do to try and course correct this early in the season.
I mean, that's what you do is you wipe a turd away. So, I mean, that makes sense.
To make my second Parks and Rec reference in this video, it's like a marker. You keep wiping. It just keeps keeps being there. I'm going to agree with Tarik, though. I'm always in the camp that when a team hires a head coach, that they need to give them a full season and a full draft in order to get the people that they want into the team. It is so hard, in my opinion. Now, granted, I've never coached a sports team in my life, but to pick up the remnants of someone else's organization and try and make a successful team out of it. I think the Broncos have that there. I don't think they have it there to beat the Dolphins team, which, now granted, the Dolphins, with all of their weapons, they haven't blown anyone out of the water like they should have. I still have the Dolphins winning this game, but for some reason, I have this being a 3-point game. I think the Broncos are going to make it close for whatever reason, because the Dolphins have not been able to win by 10 plus points this year.
Right. The Broncos have been close both of their games. They're only losing it by that, but you can tell it looks like Lamar Jackson from last year. It's just they're not finishing those games that like they're starting off strong and then just fizzling at the end.
Yeah, I would not be surprised if this game ends on like a Russell Wilson interception in the last minute.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm going to,
version.
as usual, I'm going to disagree with Brady for most of what he just said. I definitely don't think it's gonna be a close game, and I think this is gonna be the first game that Miami does blow somebody out, and it's definitely gonna be the Denver Broncos. I think Sean Payton will get there. Maybe not playoffs get there, but at least form some sort of what looks like a team at some point, get progress. It does take a long time. And he is one of the best. So this week they're gonna take a beating.
Does Emmett want to make a pick?
Which one do you think's gonna win? The Dolphins? Yeah.
Yeah. Who do you think's gonna win, Sammy?
I don't know.
The Dolphins or the Broncos?
I don't know. I can't remember.
You can't remember who you picked? I think you picked the Dolphins. But anyway, even last week against a good defense, did pretty darn good. The Broncos, it's all in their defense. I think this is going to be a lower scoring game. I don't think Miami crosses the 30-point mark.
Mom.
I don't think the Broncos cross the 20-point mark. So, but quite frankly, the Dolphins are the better team. Hopefully Jalen Waddle comes back. He has a concussion, as a lot of people do this week. So we'll see what happens. But I got Miami in this one. All right. Now, on to the exciting part. We're going to get on to our quick hitters, brought to you, of course, by Aardvark Concepts Incorporated. More than just a sign shop. Check them out. They are up in Westminster. They are here for all of your sign needs. Let's get a look at the first set of games. Only one person picked the Titans, which I thought was surprising. Jess?
I'm not really sure if I'm going to keep that or not. But the Titans surprised me with how good they were. And please stop. The Titans surprised me with how good they played. And the Browns, I mean, they were beaten up. I do think the Browns might take it, so I might change it, but we'll see.
I'm with Jess. With the injury to Nick Chubb, when I made my picks, I picked the Browns solely on, maybe by some, miracle Nick Chubb was able to play this week, but I just don't see a realm where the Browns don't become one-dimensional without him. So we'll see where the injury reports lie. I have the Browns. I may end up changing to the Titans. So we'll see.
I was surprised more people didn't pick the Titans, honestly.
You even surprised yourself?
I was surprised. I almost picked the Titans. I didn't, but I thought more people would pick the Titans. And then, of course, we had one person pick Atlanta.
Atlanta.
Hey, I mean, if our fans are watching this, they know how hard I was.
They are birds.
You know how hard you were on what?
They know how hard I was on Atlanta last year and how they've played, but they have played surprisingly well with really only two additions that of note that I know of, which would be Bijan Robinson and Calais Campbell on defense. And it kind of goes to show when you can draft well and you can sign good players, that it can kind of turn a team around. I mean, now granted, I don't think Atlanta's going to win the Super Bowl this year, but they're making the right moves. But again, though, injury reports, David Montgomery might be out for the Lions, and that he's been their bell cow back so far. So we'll see.
Yep. All right, let's move on to the next set. Only me and Brady picking the Chargers over the Vikings, but quite frankly, neither of these teams can win close games. So I just figured the Chargers would get one.
Yeah, there's no tie option to choose, so I had to go with one.
Yeah, I'm very gun shy after my week 1 picks where I made a couple of really weird ones. So I'm just picking I'm just going like majority percentages here.
What we call that? Playing the what is it? The grain.
The odds.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever. Playing the odds, betting the grain.
Yeah. I was also a little surprised that 3 people picked the Jets on one of them. I thought that was going to be an upset, but 3 of us picked them.
And
Patriots?
Patriots have owned the Jets. They haven't lost a game against them in the last 14 contests.
Yeah, but what are the Patriots this year? 0-2? 1-1?
I want to say.
They looked pretty bad. They
0-2.
Okay, well, at least this week they look pretty bad. I don't remember the week before. Short-term memory loss, but the Jets, I feel like Zach Wilson's a hot mess, obviously, and he's a turnover machine. Without that, though, if they can keep that under control, which the Patriots will try to exploit, but without that, they absolutely, I think, are the winners in this category or this matchup.
He is a young that boy looks like a kid.
You mean me?
That's just because
No.
we're getting old, Sam.
Yeah, no,
he doesn't look like he has the ability to grow a hair on his body.
Well,
yeah,
he throws like a kid. He throws so irresponsibly. He plays like he's not ready for the NFL.
Honestly, I don't think that game comes down to Zach Wilson at all. I think it comes down to the play calling. I mean, I understand you're down by 2 scores, 3 scores, but they completely abandoned the running game. And when you have 2 running backs like Dalvin Cook and Breece Hall and you don't give them the ball, like that's a big problem. I mean, those are 2 guys who are legitimate starters that you have on your roster and you can't give them the ball.
And in combination with the person that is taking that from them is Zach Wilson, and he's going to turn it over 4 times in a game.
Yeah, that was my main problem. Now, granted, if play calling changes this week, I'll be happy to be wrong in this one because I think Zach Wilson could be a decent quarterback, a Jimmy Garoppolo level quarterback in the NFL. But it is Bill Belichick. You know, it is a divisional game. Bill Belichick finds a way to win these games.
All right, let's move on to the next set of games. Only one person picked one thing different, and we all know why.
Me?
The boy likes his Houston Texans. I don't know why. I don't know.
They didn't look bad. They got outplayed by Gardner Minshew, and who knows how that game would have went if Anthony Richardson had stayed in the game, but he got a concussion, unfortunately.
The dude had 2 rushing touchdowns before he got knocked out. So
that is true, but throwing the ball wasn't that great. So
yeah.
Gardner Minshew kind of remedied that for them. So we'll see.
We'll pick them.
And then I picked the Raven.
You did pick the Ravens. You know, I think we all are in agreement that the Ravens are going to win that one.
Yep. And I want the Eagles win.
Well, that's
And
on
then-
the next slide.
And the Chiefs.
I would say, though, that if Anthony Richardson was playing the Ravens game, that it would be a farther deficit. I think Gardner Minshew is a better quarterback right now for the Colts.
You agree?
I feel like if Anthony Richardson was playing, they'd have a better chance of winning.
Well, I agree with that, but because
Again?
the Ravens know what to expect with a quarterback with a Lamar Jackson skill set. But when you give someone like Gardner Minshew the keys, who knows?
I disagree because I think the Ravens are such good at like the pass rush that they're so good at the pass rush that the rookie QB would get ripped up and make rookie mistakes. Whereas Gardner Minshew, like, you know, he at least has seen it before. He's been beat up a lot. So I think he's got a better chance of staying calm under that.
That's what we're saying, yeah, is that Gardner Minshew gives the Colts a better chance of winning,
Football.
but I don't think it's enough.
Sam disagreed.
Football.
I'm
is-
saying it's the other way. I'm saying
Oh.
Anthony Richardson.
No, all right, I'm with Jess. I'm agreeing with her.
I know you're agreeing with her. I'm saying Anthony Richardson would give them a better chance to win. He's more exciting. He has more tools. Gardner Minshew can only throw the ball.
Agree.
But is he more excitable?
Maybe. Haven't
Maybe.
seen enough from him. Don't know yet.
And let's be honest, the Bears offense is just awful.
Oh my God, it's the worst. I think it's the worst in the league, isn't it?
But honestly, just to hit on the other side of this, the Chiefs offense didn't look great last week. So
It did not. That was a defensive slug. It was weird.
yeah. So we'll see. We'll see if those two teams are who they think we are.
That's right. Thank you, Danny Green.
Let him off the hook.
All right. Last week, once again, somebody is refusing to pick the Cowboys to win.
Not me.
Good job, Sammy.
It's you.
No, it's you. You're picking the Cardinals. You won't pick the Cowboys.
Yeah.
No matter how good the Cowboys are, you won't pick them. You're
Sammy.
you're like Stephen A. Smith.
No, no.
I don't know if anybody could pick the Cardinals in this scenario.
No,
Good,
but
good,
you
good,
expected the
good.
Cardinals
Good.
to at least be in a fighter's chance in both games they've been in this year. I mean, they've been playing their hearts out.
I expected them to be a fighting chance this
And
week.
I picked the Steelers.
Like, meaning
I
the
picked
week
the
had just passed.
Eagles.
I mean,
Nah,
well, yeah,
the
sure,
Raiders.
but
No.
who knows?
Don't-
Any given Sunday, I'm not going to pick them, but
And then we had a kind of a split for the second Monday night game, because there's 2 Monday night games this week, like last week, which is just weird.
Weird.
yeah, we got to put in a call to Roger Goodell about him cutting into his own product, but that's I don't get it. But yeah, that game was kind of a toss up for me because I mean that excuse me if I mispronounce his name, but Pua Nakua, the rookie wide receiver for the Rams, who set
Nakua,
the
yeah.
record for
Wow.
receptions with 15. I don't think he's going to do that again, but the Rams offense has looked kind of better as expected without Cooper Kupp. So we'll see, but I'm fully expecting that if the Bengals are going to do anything this week or this year, it's going to be this week.
It's the beauty of a healthy Matt Stafford.
Yeah, but he threw, what did he throw? 1 pick this week? He threw at least 1 pick. I don't remember if it was only 1, but he's kind of my biggest toss up. Other than that, the Rams actually looked pretty good this week. The Bengals obviously did not. So
2.
he threw 2.
They threw 2 picks against the
Oh,
49ers.
Yeah, 307 yards,
Don't get me
1
wrong.
touchdown, 2 interceptions.
49ers, really tough team, like the toughest. But the Bengals, it's like we're all just kind of waiting. They have the potential to beat almost any team, right? But are
Yeah.
they going to do it this week? And then every week the answer is no. So I'm just not going to bet on them this week until they start showing it.
Me neither. I think they're going to do better. I think it's going to be a close game like the Ravens game, but I still think the Rams win this one.
At least it'll be the most interesting game on Monday night, at least.
What's the other Monday night game?
Eagles and Tampa.
I bet you that one's interesting.
No
Could be.
shot.
Is
The Eagles
Tampa
haven't looked-
interesting at all anymore?
The Eagles, the quarterback has not looked great. He's looked okay.
The Eagles?
Yeah. But he
Yeah, but
hasn't
the
looked
rest of
great.
that team?
Yeah, I mean Tampa's 2-0, but they played what? Who did they play week 1?
One of them was kind of a tough opponent, I thought.
They played the Vikings last week.
Yeah, Vikings week 1 and Bears week 2. So Tampa's record is.
No,
Well,
I
the
think he gets
Vikings,
that
I think,
backwards.
are actually a tough team. They just,
But are they on the level of the Eagles?
no,
No.
but
He just hasn't looked great. Just hasn't. Maybe he needs more time in that offensive scheme. He's got a new offensive coordinator, so maybe
Yeah,
that's it.
maybe.
But we'll have to see how it goes.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.
You're stealing Mr. Tarik's line.
Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for continuing to watch every week. Please remember, like the video, comment with who you think is going to win, who you think is wrong. Give me and Brady upvote so we can beat Jess this year. Subscribe so you see new videos. And as always, we'll see you next time. I'm Tarik.
I'm Jessica.
Sam.
I'm football Jesus.
And I'm Sam. You have a great football week.
And that's a Jessica too.
Bye, guys.
Look.